there's no way to solve it. But I mean, you don't play Boise State this year, and there's some teams play teams, and it affects the conference race depending on who you play on the other side. Sometimes I know there's nothing you can do about it, but what just luck of the draw, who you get,
I think
who
that's
you get
it.
from the other side.
But I think what happens sometimes is, I know 4 years ago when I first got here, everyone said, "Oh, the West is so far ahead of the mountain," and now it's the opposite. Every couple of years things turn around, so it's just the fact that 1 year you may have a tougher schedule than the next.
It evens
it's
out.
just I think overall it evens out.
Rocky Long was saying earlier that he thinks it's impossible with the current 4-team setup for a team from the Mountain West to ever crack the playoff. If a team goes undefeated from your conference, say like a Boise State or something, or you got whoever, do you feel like the system would allow a team from a non-Power 5 to get into the 4?
You're talking about the actual
yeah,
playoff?
the actual playoff. Yeah.
I don't think that the committee would allow that to happen. When you have a Power 5 conference champion already, the Big 12 champion not go, they're not going to have 2 conference championships unless if in 17 we beat Alabama and Washington and whoever else we have on the schedule, maybe then you would have a chance. But it would have to be something like that.
I mean, but
aside
from the playoff going to 8, what can you guys do? I mean,
Well, I still think that the playoff would be terrific to get a chance to do that. Back when we were in the old BCS, there was no better chance of getting in that final game. So I think we have greater access to the at-large bowls now. That there's going to definitely be a group of 5 representative in the host bowls. But I kind of agree with Rocky that I can't foresee in a 14 playoff any conference other than a Power 5 conference.
You'd have to have a lot of teams lose two games, I guess, from those conferences and stuff. I mean, to even be in the
with the money, I still don't think it's going to happen. I just personal feeling. I think there's just too much money that wouldn't allow that to happen. And you're going to have to go undefeated in those non-league games are going to have to be top.
Just wondered if a team like Boise State this year, they're going to start ranked. They play Washington, they play Virginia, BYU. If they'd even be in the conversation if something like that happened, or if they're just not even thinking about it.
I think if they were totally undefeated, they're going to be in the conversation. But I think at the end of the year, it's not going to happen.
Your 4 quarterbacks, so they start out on equal footing, or does somebody have an inside track or a leg up on that? Or how do you evaluate the 4-way back?
What we'll do is all 4 of them will work with one offense in the first week of camp. So we'll rotate those guys. We'll have multiple huddles where all those guys are going to get opportunities, and we'll just see. There won't be any decisions made probably as far as a rank order until maybe the first scrimmage or so, and evaluate there, and then maybe slot them a little different. But
so right now there's no order then; it's just 4 guys in equal footing. Okay.
Now, obviously, the guys that were already on campus know our offense, so they'll probably get the early reps, but it's not indicative that they're already ordained as the guy, if you understand what I'm saying.
Mm-hmm. And Martez Waller, he had such a breakout year last year. I know he's one of your best players coming back. What about depth behind him? We saw last year, whenever I would call for him to get more carries in that one game, he got injured, right?
See how smart you are?
Exactly. But so how are you going to build depth behind him? I mean, you need more.
Well, we've got Malik Meisenheimer coming back, and we also, I don't know if you heard, Dustin Garrison's going to be coming. Who played at West Virginia 4 years, graduated, and so he's a guy that's played in the Big 12, and watching him work out this summer, I think he's going to be a guy that's going to compete really well and give us a.
He's kind of a change. I saw him. He's kind of a change of pace guy, right? A smaller guy.
He's smaller than Martez, but I mean he's got a burst, and he's pretty built. I mean, he's a guy you can tell has been a college football program for 4 years. He's not a high school kid.
So those are the 2 guys that you would look for.
Well, and Malik, and of course you got Chris Malik coming back. So,
were you surprised at all with how difficult the transition from Derek Carr was? I think you guys threw 25 touchdowns, 21 interceptions. I mean, were you expecting it to be that difficult last year? Do you expect it to be that way again?
We knew. We told whoever was the quarterback last year, you don't have to be Derek Carr. We don't expect anybody to be that guy. Brian did a decent job for us, but the biggest thing that he needed to work on was take care of the football. You know, the 21 interceptions. You know, you can't win football games that way. You know, I think the year before, I believe Derek threw 8, and those, you know, most of those interceptions, you know, some weren't his fault, but most of those were just not good decisions. And you know, it wasn't a talent thing. It's just, you know, hey, get in that situation again, don't do it. Obviously, going into this year, you'd love to have a quarterback with experience that's gone through that can learn from it. Whoever's going to go through is going to be someone that's going to, you know, probably go through a little bit of a learning curve. But, you know, our charge to all 4 of them is going to be whoever does the best job of taking care of the football is going to be our leader. So that's